Hi, my name is Ed Smith, and in this video we're going to do some very basic butchery with the whole chicken leg.
From that we will get
drumsticks, trimmed drumsticks, skinless thighs, skinless boneless thighs, boneless skinless thighs, and generally how we can use a whole chicken leg at home without being restricted by what the supermarket gives us. Every bird has got two legs, and that means we can do this twice. I'm going to show you first of all how to divide the leg into a drumstick and a thigh, and we're going to go from there. Now the good thing about nature is it's done some of the work for us. This is the drumstick, this is the thigh, and if you're going to cut through it you might be worried about cutting through bone, but of course there's a join, and nature shows us that there is a grey dividing line between the two, and all we have to do is find that line and cut along it, and that means you can cut straight through. Now if all you need to do is to have a separation of drumstick and thigh, then we've done that. How simple is that? There's the thigh, here's the drumstick, but we can go further if you want. The first thing you can do is to remove the bone from the chicken thigh. Again, there is a line down the middle of the meat that you can see, which sort of indicates where the bone's going to be. I like to score along that, gradually opening out the meat and then scratching either side of the bone to clear the meat from it. Pulling the meat away from the bone makes it nice and taut. You just need to nick the edge. When you've gone around the bone, you simply need to move the knife underneath it, cut along. Again, scrape rather than cut means you lose less meat. Have a nice cleanish bone at the end. That is your boneless thigh. There might be a little bit of cartilage at this top part here, so I tend to cut that off. And maybe there's a bit of skin that you don't want, so you can square that up. That is your boneless thigh. If you want to make it skinless, well, you simply take the skin off. There's no cutting required. You find a little gap, put your finger through it, and pull it off. That skin can be used in stock, or you can cook it between two baking tins for lovely crisp chicken meat, which is always delicious. That's my skinless boneless thigh. Now the drumstick, you don't need to do anything with this if you don't want to, but you can tidy it up by pulling the skin tight just here, cutting around where the meat starts to get thick. You are cutting through some tendons, and then with the heavier back of the knife, give it a sharp tap. There we go. Cut through. That leaves us with a nice squat portion of drumstick.
Right, still with me? Let's do this again. Here is the second leg. You can see that grey line that I mentioned earlier, which shows you exactly where to cut between thigh and drumstick, so your knife can slide easily through the articulation. And I'm just repeating what I did the first time around with the thigh, cutting down the grey line that shows us where the bone is, and then separating the meat from the bone with a combination of incisions and scraping, pulling the meat taut, which helps to ensure the flesh comes away easily and cleanly from the bone. And I'll slide the tip of the knife under the bone when I can, releasing one end, and then scraping down the rest of it until it's easy to cut that bone out, again without losing too much meat. Trim away any cartilage, job done. I'll leave the skin on this one. On occasion, if I've got whole legs when the recipe calls for skin on boneless thighs, I'll take the bones out of the drumsticks too. This is a bit more of a fiddle, but the same principle really. Slice open at the fleshiest bit, cut around the bone until you can release one end, and then scrape down before cutting away the other end. You'll see there are lots of thin, stringy tendons in there. If we were restaurant chefs, we might spend a while pulling those out, but in all honesty, I think life is too short. So there you go. From two legs, skin on but boneless drumsticks, skin on boneless thighs, skinless boneless thighs, and a nice squat drumstick.
That's it. I hope you found it helpful. You probably came here via the QR codes in my cookbook, Peckish. If you didn't, take a look at that book. It is a book solely using chicken as the main ingredient, winning ideas for dinner every day of the week. Some projects, some simple ideas, all very tasty. Take a look.